Well, I think Phil Steele's got me convinced. Alabama makes the playoff. I don't know. I'm still thinking about it, Barry. All day yesterday, I'm thinking, really? Making the playoff? It's been a tough 24 hours, Barry. I've been really trying to soul search.
If it was just some guy off the street,
yeah,
John would make fun of him. Hey, John, let me stop you here. I know you're in the middle of public shopping and everything, but golly, I really think Alabama could make the playoffs. John wouldn't even slow the buggy, He'd be loading up his cart with the buy one get one freeze.
Oh yeah,
checking the coupons and everything. Wouldn't even look up for that guy. I really do think so. I think our running game could be good. I think our offensive and defensive line's going to be improved. John wouldn't even bat an eyelash. But Phil Steele says it, who we respect as much as anybody in the, whatever you call it, the preseason preview magazine business, and that includes Tom Culpepper and Forrest Davis and Max Emfinger and Jeff.
Are they still
Jeff
around?
Whitaker,
wow.
Those guys?
Yeah.
But Phil Steele says it live on our show yesterday, and John's like, whoa.
I was blown away.
One of the top three, they'll be one of the three in the SEC that'll make the college football playoff. But he's John Longshore, born skeptic.
Yeah.
I'm Barry McKnight. And this is our Thursday show. If you missed our interview with Phil Steele, you can, of course, watch it again. We have them all on Rotate or all on In Reserve. But he did come out and say that. He thinks Auburn will have a better year, which is, we've heard that before.
Yep.
But it was the Alabama comment after what's turned into months and months of what has changed? What has changed?
What has changed?
And, of course, my thought is what has changed from a 9-win season and a berth in the college football playoff? You would think if you just dropped in here from Mars or from Bosnia and Herzegovina and all that kind of stuff, and you're thinking, oh, Alabama must have had a horrendous year last year and needs a bounce back. No, they won't. What has changed? Now Phil Steele says they're going to be better.
Yeah,
I have Alabama as my number one, not surprise team, because, they're, top 20 team. Well, yeah, I guess he did say surprise team because, a surprise team is outside the top 10.
Yep.
I have the Alabama Crimson Tide, and believe me, I'm no Alabama fan, but the look on John's face over on that side of the screen was priceless. He's like, what?
Phil, number one surprise team is a team that is not in the preseason top 10, outside of the top 10 preseason, but finishes in the top 10. And as you mentioned, Barry said it just a moment ago, Georgia, Texas, and Alabama are the three teams Phil believes will make the college football playoff. So I've been thinking a lot about that. It's good news if you're a Bama fan. But I also, Barry, was checking out Bama 247.
Oh, good.
Part of the 247 network. Alex Scarborough, who's one of their very talented writers, will Alabama make the playoff, predicting every regular season game and postseason. And I was checking it out, and, this time of year, writers and website guys do a lot of this stuff. I get it. East Carolina, stone cold lock win. Kentucky, a little shaky, which is kind of something I've been hinting at as well. I think Alabama could win, but can they cover the spread? We'll see when that number comes out. But this is the one that really surprised me. After a win against East Carolina, Kentucky, Florida State, South Carolina, a loss. And the reasoning is, he says, call me a pessimist, but I'm not sold that Alabama gets its first marquee game of the regular season against Georgia on October the 10th, totally unscathed.
Yeah.
There are just too many big problems to solve on the fly. I'm talking about a first-time starting quarterback, a totally rebuilt offensive line, an unproven running game, and that's just the offense. Breaking in a new group of inside linebackers won't be easy. Eventually, I think this coaching staff will get it together, but those are some concerns right out of the gate. Those sound eerily familiar. A quarterback that hasn't taken a meaningful snap, an offensive line that's been rebuilt, don't have a 1,000-yard rusher, and no alpha dog on defense. I know I've heard that somewhere before, multiple times, I believe.
I disagree with most of them. Some of them I don't. Most of them I do. And I don't know what Joe Scarborough's got about anything. And, you watch him on TV, and he doesn't.
This is Alex Scarborough. Alex. Like Joe is on morning. Joe is on Morning Joe.
The difference is that John has actually heard of Joe Scarborough. But Alex Scarborough, John wouldn't know him if he came up in the middle of the public's aisle and said
that's true.
Any of that. But all of a sudden, he's a guy. I gotta take Alex Scarborough to task.
No, I'm just. I'm just passing
that it's a totally reworked offensive line?
Let me go ahead and let me see.
There's a lot of those same names that are back.
Let's see.
I mean, define reworked. There's still going to be left tackle, right tackle, guards, and a center.
Totally rebuilt offensive line and an unproven running game.
I agree with the running game.
Yeah.
But if you look around, there's a lot of familiar names on that offensive line. Familiar in the sense that they're returning. Familiar in the sense that you'll recognize some of those names that you've been screaming at your television at the top of your lungs for missing that block and causing Ty Simpson to get the snot knocked out of.
Well, I'll tell you one of them that won't be there because I said it multiple times. 74, you're getting killed out there.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
So I just, passing along the information. Maybe I'm not as bullish on the Tide as Phil is, but look, he's the expert.
Yeah.
This guy's got a track record that's, incredibly impressive. I got to see it to believe it.
I don't know who the new guy to kick around will be. There's always one for every Alabama fan every year. From Kelf Bailey to Dolly Madison to Run By Me Ramsey. Last year, it was
Caden Proctor.
I'm sorry, it was Caden Proctor last year. He's gone. Top round draft pick, NFL. Maybe they know something. Who knows? But I do know this. I don't necessarily agree with Phil myself, to be honest. In the sense, who knows? I think they'll have a good year, but my definition of a good year from Alabama is different from spoiled Alabama fans' definition of a good year. You're not standing in the middle of the field at whatever the place is where they hold the national championship game, holding that trophy. It ain't been a good year. I think it's going to be a better year than it was last year, but I don't think that they're one of the top 3 teams in the SEC. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Watch out for Texas A&M. LSU, LSU's in transition. They'll be good, but they're not. Texas A&M, there's a lot to like about it.
On me here because A&M, who did they beat last year? Like one team with a winning record?
Yep.
I mean, and I know that was last year and this is this year. Don't fall into that trap. How many times have we, A&M's tough. Woo, you better watch out for A&M. I'm telling you, this is their year. And I guess eventually it's kind of like the Braves. Eventually they're going to do it. The odds say they will. Hey, Braves won last night, by the way.
Oh yeah, I got a little bit about that too. What a way to win that game. But I'm not saying they win in the national championship.
They are not winning the national championship. I can confidently say that right here, right now.
But I will say that they got not very much wrong with them. I think that they're a better team than Alabama. I think they're a better team along the line of scrimmage right now than Alabama, and that makes a difference.
Well,
I think.
Alex Scarborough has Alabama losing to Texas A&M.
Well, I'll go with that.
He does have them beating Georgia. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Got them losing to South Carolina and A&M, beating Georgia and LSU, and that game at the end of the year too.
Texas A&M last year went 11-2. They were 7-1 in the SEC. They were cooking along. They were 11-2, and the 2 came in the last 2 games. They were rolling. They were 11-0 heading into heading into Austin. Texas beats them. They win that game. They play for the SEC championship. They didn't, and they lose in an absolute slugfest at Kyle Field to Miami in the playoff. They are poised now. They
poised.
Are poised.
I like that word.
Texas A&M. In case you're wondering about all of this, here we are talking about Alex Scarborough, who John doesn't know from Scarborough.
I think, Barry, if I see him at media days, I'll nudge and go, hey, Barry, I think that's the guy. That's him right there, the one in the glasses.
He does that to me all the time. Yeah. Remember that guy we were talking about, Barry? That's the guy.
That's the guy.
Yeah. Booger Sugar. That's him. That kind of.
And he'll go, well, you going to go up and talk to him? No, I don't really want to talk to him. No, hell no.
I just think that's him. About 80% of the time, John's right. A couple of times he's wrong. Barry, who's the guy who refills our water pitchers over here? I think that's the guy. I said, no, that's the Vanderbilt head coach. Oh.
I ran into him in the parking deck. Who was that guy, by the way? Looked like Steve Martin.
Yeah, that was Bobby Johnson.
Yeah, Bobby Johnson.
Years ago.
Yeah, that's right.
Reason why we're doing all this, and I do this every day. I'm not hopeful for anything bad, but we're in July, fellas.
Yeah.
I'm looking at, all of my different, news emails, buddies of mine and everything. I'm not wanting anything really bad. Can somebody at Auburn or Alabama get arrested for, what was it that one time, throwing your girlfriend's cell phone in the middle of traffic on McFarland? You don't have to be guilty of it. John has shown that you don't have to be guilty of allegations by the NCAA or anybody for it not to, continue living on in conversation.
No doubt.
You can be found absolutely innocent of baseless allegations, and John will continue on for 16 years about it.
Those are the ones that are the best.
We don't
are you kidding me? I mean, what kind of backroom deals went on to get this cleared up?
Yeah, you can plead it out, or you can be found not guilty. That's fine. But can somebody take a ride on a booster's boat on a recruiting visit?
You're missing probably the
this is the
best one. Who was the player that allegedly roughed up his girlfriend, and the girlfriend's father said it was the girl's fault?
Yeah.
He didn't want the football player
coming out of the courthouse where he was found not guilty. He said, it was her fault anyway. His daughter. I know who it is. It was in Eufaula, and I'm not going to say who that was.
I remember. I remember
who it was.
But it's like he roughed her up.
Yeah.
But her dad said, well, he didn't rough her up. It was her fault.
Yeah. Not enough
to get this guy out in the field.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We need that guy in the NFL, and we need him to marry my daughter, so she can take care of her dad.
Yeah,
that just something. There's nothing. Back in the day, when they weren't all here for this summer, just several of them, and you used to let them loose for the summer with a cushy job at the booster's place where all you had to do was, wash a car every day at the dealership. Then you had all that free time and you were away from the watchful eye of your position coach. You used to have stuff like that. Like I said, I don't want anything serious.
No.
Doesn't even have to be true.
Drama.
Can somebody speed? Can somebody improper lane change? I'm getting to
Yeah,
that
really.
point. Please.
Did they raise the speed limits in Athens, Georgia? None of those players have gotten in trouble in a
I'd
while.
take any of the, just
I mean,
something.
can we have a quarterback get pulled over in some rural county in Georgia with weed and marijuana paraphernalia on him? Whatever happened to those days? That was Nick Marshall, by the way.
I'm not even sure that you can't do that anymore.
I think you can now.
I think you can, but I wouldn't swear to it. Just something to help us out here.
Barry, I see that Dennis Mitchell has had a total eclipse of the heart today.
Yeah. Bonnie Tyler.
Wow.
Noted voice of the 80s and 90s. Every now and then, that song she did.
He said he liked It's a Heartache. That was his favorite of.
It's a Heartache was. She was British, I think. Very raspy voice. She passes away.
And Joe says there's no way we know the lyrics to the song I Got 5 on It, which is the title of episode 469 today. I've never heard the song I Got 5 on It.
But if John ever writes his autobiography, that very likely might be his title out there. But then again, just writing your name at the top of the page does not count as doing your part in writing a biography.
I had writer's block. I'm still having it, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
Hey, Barry, when we come back, speaking of Phil Steele, there was something that, I guess we addressed it in some form, but I wanted to get into it a little deeper about some predictions that Phil has about other teams as well.
Okay.
We'll do that when we return. Jason Caldwell, Auburn Undercover, at the bottom of this hour. Rodney Orr, the Tider Insider, at the top of hour number 2. It is Thursday here with Longshore and McKnight.
It is the episode number 469. I Got 5 on it. Longshore and McKnight, in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Known by avid golfers as one of the most beautiful and challenging stops on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, Cambrian Ridge in Greenville lies just 40 miles from Montgomery. It is well worth the ride for any golfer looking for 27 holes of jaw-dropping golf. The greens have been redesigned to accommodate the higher green speeds associated with their installation of the latest generation of ultra-dwarf Bermuda grass. Cambrian Ridge offers a fully stocked pro shop with all the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Cambrian Ridge for tee times and more information.
It doesn't matter if you're running drills at the park, playing pickup on a Saturday, or sinking the final putt. When you compete with your friends with Michelob Ultra on the line, competition isn't that friendly. The trash talk, next level. And the stakes, those are crystal clear. With only 95 calories and superior smooth taste, it's the ultimate trophy. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025, Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382, or find them on the web at 834hands.com. Hey, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We really appreciate it. It helps with the algorithm. That's what they tell us. I'm not sure what an algorithm is, but do so anyway. We'd really appreciate that. Of course, you get instant notifications. Of course, every day, our good friends at Yellowhammer News drop some highlight clips of the show. You can check those out. Also, the Phantom's Daily Dog, if you missed it, it's also posted as well. You can check us out on Facebook, YouTube, X, Spotify, iTunes, Yellowhammer News, their Facebook page, yellowhammernews.com. Check it all out. You can stream it through your Bluetooth on your vehicle and listen. I know a lot of people do that. We really appreciate it. And we appreciate the support. Hit the like and subscribe button.
We have a very active chat room that later on, when you watch us on repeat or whatever and help with our algorithm, you can actually look back at yours and say, yeah, he actually did that. He actually said that. Our buddy, and we got a lot of new blood here that continues to go on. One of my favorites is Brett from Beauregard. He says, John, I mean, he capitalized it, so he's serious. He's shouting it on chat. John, not an Alabama fan at all, but please, enough of this Kentucky might beat Alabama mess. Kentucky ain't beaten Alabama in football this year. Nobody believes that. Not even Kentucky. Alabama wins by 17 or more. John, can you stop it with, they go up to Lexington. They got, still improving. He says even Kentucky fans are watching our show and saying, that ain't happening. What's that guy on?
Brett. I never said Kentucky was going to beat Alabama. Never said that. Not once.
That shouldn't stop anything.
Never said it. I just said Alabama's not going to cover the spread. Whatever the spread is, I'm taking Kentucky in the points. Said that months ago.
What'll the spread be?
Double digits.
It'll be double digits.
And I'll take it. I'm going to take a home team dog getting double digits in week 2. Kentucky warms up against Youngstown State before they welcome the Tide in week 2.
The Mighty Penguins.
So that's all I said, Brett. I never said Kentucky would win the game outright. There's a big difference from covering the spread or just winning the game outright.
Yes. John had to explain that to Junior. Dad, what are you so mad about? Alabama won the game. Son, there's a big difference between winning the game and covering the spread. Sit down.
Yeah. If you don't cover the spread for me, I hope you lose it outright. Get
your spiral-bound notebook out here and write this down.
I almost want to go as far as hope your starting quarterback gets knocked out for the remainder of the year if you don't cover for me.
No.
Now, here's a guy, Barry, Bob from Pike Road, that seems to be in the boat with me here.
He says, I hope I am wrong. I love Bama. Bama has a better chance of going 7-5 than 9-3. I like that. I like that presentation. John and I sometimes are looking for different approaches, different ways to say some of the things we believe. If we sat on here and said, all we said all day was, Auburn's going to win this game, Auburn's going to win that game, Auburn's going to win that way, Auburn's going to lose that game. Oh, they're going to lose this game big, and I need to sit back and everything. There's not much to it. It's in the presentation. And I like the presentation, Bob, of that's something we can sink our teeth into. Bama has a better chance of going 7-5 than going 9-3. That doesn't mean he says they're going to go 7-5. It surely doesn't mean he says they're going to go 9-3. It's just more likely that they go 7-5 than 9-3, which I don't believe. He says, I hate typing this, but facts are facts. Bob from Pike Road's 2026 prediction is Alabama goes 8-4.
8-4. And Bob, as you well know, I've been saying for weeks now, someone please convince me Alabama can win more than 8 games. Tell me they can go 9-3 or 10-2. Now, Alex Scarborough thinks they'll go 10-2 and play Miami in a first-round playoff game down in Coral Gables and get beat. Is that going to be good enough? Hey, they made the playoffs. Yeah, but they got beaten first round.
This is what it means. This is what it means. Bob from Pike Road has coined the phrase disaster on the pasture. He uses it constantly, and now he says it's exploded into a national phenomenon. Our buddy Joe has come up with a couple himself. He says, disowned at the capstone. How about won't win many at Bryant-Denny? That's good, Joe. Again, you guys are starting to understand the flow and the mindset we have in hosting this show, how do you say something differently? What would many at Brian Denny?
Yeah.
That's a little simplistic, but I like the tone.
And there again, as I started off the show today, I'm certainly not going to question Phil Steele. Known him for over 25 years. The guy's very good at predicting the upcoming college football season. He's not 100% correct, but he's pretty accurate. I was a little surprised when I heard him discuss Alabama yesterday. Had a lengthy hour-long meeting, over an hour with Kalen DeBoer, breaking down the team. But I got to see it to believe it.
Oh yeah,
because what I saw last year is still etched in my mind.
And it doesn't bother me. Again, I'm no Alabama fan. If they go 0-12, that wouldn't ruffle my hair or anything. But I just think it's good for Alabama fans, for their emotional growth, to acknowledge the fact that they might go 7-5 instead of 9-3. Because 10 years ago, in 2016, you were fat and sassy. I'm not talking about John personally, but Bama fan, you were fat and sassy. Oh, who's going to win the Heisman this year? Will it be our running back or will it be our quarterback?
Yeah.
What about the Bednarik Award or anything like that? Now it's like, man, we got a better chance of going 7-5 with this bunch of Humpty Dumptys than we do going 9-3. I think it's good for you. Our buddy Plainsman Preston, true story. 2 days ago, I was in Montgomery. Came up right after the show. I was at the doctor's office in Montgomery. And went back real quick. It wasn't anything big. Went back real quick. Came back out, and a gentleman in the waiting room says, "Hey, Barry." I did not know him. Very nice gentleman. He said, "Hey, Barry, how are you doing?" And he extended his hand. He was sitting down. He extended his hand as I'm walking out. And I said, "Hey," I shook his hand and everything. I said, "How are you doing?" He said, "Oh, I'm good." He said, "I love the show with you and John." He said, "I'm a big friend of Plainsman Preston."
Ah.
So I stopped shaking his hand immediately. No, I'm just kidding. And I'm thinking, that guy gets around.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy gets around. I mean, you hear all the time people say, "Oh man, Plainsman Preston is on here." He says, "Now, how in the world is this going to relate to me?" That's what it was. I was a little bit late for getting out of there. Had to get back and all that kind of stuff. So we didn't have a long conversation, though he was a very nice guy. You just never know who you run to. The thing that meant the most to me, he says, "Hey, I love the show." He says, "Are you going to keep that Longshore in line?" And I said, "Hadn't yet. Well, doesn't seem likely," and all that. So, hey, we appreciate that.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate that. Certainly do. Thank you so much. That makes us feel good. Over the years, a lot of people have come up and said hello, and, man, we really appreciate that.
One more thing before we go to break and visit with Jason Caldwell. Brett from Beauregard. See what you think about this. He says, "Guys, forget Phil Steele.
Oh, wow.
Forget Alex Scarborough, some money line guy, etc. If Alabama wins one of A&M, Georgia, LSU, they go 10-2. I'm pulling for 7-5, but not happening. Too many acting like Democrats on here. I don't know what that means.
Pulling for 7-5. I love that.
But he says they think to go 10. On the surface of that, how does that strike you? If Alabama wins either A&M or Georgia or LSU, just one of those, they go 10-2. Likely or no? I think it's likely. I'm pretty sure they'll win one of those games.
I think there's some other potential hiccups there as well, because we've seen it in the last 2 years. That's what people forget, Barry. I go back to the Missouris and the South Carolinas and even in the Auburn games. I mean, these are games Alabama was lucky to win.
Agreed.
They pull a rabbit out of their hat. People forget about those. They look at those bad losses, Florida State, Georgia, 17, 20-point losses. Of course, the loss to Indiana was 35. But what about the close wins
That could have gone either way.
Yeah, are they going to continue to be able to eke out the close wins as well? That's why I'm just, I'm thinking, somebody please tell me how they're going to win more than 8 games.
We had some good content last week from Jason Caldwell when he visited with us about, the need for Auburn to start winning those close games a lot more regularly than they have in the past. We'll follow up with Jason Caldwell, AuburnUndercover.com. When we come back, it's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Known by avid golfers as one of the most beautiful and challenging stops on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, Cambrian Ridge in Greenville lies just 40 miles from Montgomery. It is well worth the ride for any golfer looking for 27 holes of jaw-dropping golf. The greens have been redesigned to accommodate the higher green speeds associated with their installation of the latest generation of ultra-dwarf Bermuda grass. Cambrian Ridge offers a fully stocked pro shop with all the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Cambrian Ridge for tee times and more information. Phoenix Physical Therapy is ready to help patients recover, recharge, and rise. They develop a customized therapy plan for each patient to get them back to enjoying their favorite activities. Their experienced team is committed to providing exceptional care in a professional environment. Whether you're looking to prevent or treat an injury, recover from a recent illness, or recuperate from surgery, schedule an appointment with one of their clinics and take advantage of physical therapy, athletic training, workers' comp, and employer solution services. Get back in the game, get back to work, and get back to life with Phoenix Physical Therapy. To find a location near you and to schedule an appointment, go to phoenixphysicaltherapy.com. That's phoenixphysicaltherapy.com.
This summer, Dixie Electric Plumbing and Air is on a Jurassic hunt for the oldest HVAC systems and water heaters in town. If your system is a fossil, now's your chance. Replace it between June 1st and July 31st, and you could win big. We're giving $2,500 back for the oldest HVAC systems and $1,000 back for the oldest water heater. Even if you don't win, you still score major savings on your new HVAC system, water heater, generator, and or garage door. Don't let your systems go extinct. Call Dixie, and it's done.
Okay, about 28 minutes at the top of the hour, as we do on Thursdays. We bring in our friend Jason Caldwell, Auburn Undercover. Jason, good morning. Hope you're doing well.
I'm good, guys. How about y'all?
Doing really well, especially since we're done now with the Independence Day holiday. And like you wrote in your Monday column, for you, and you've been covering it, 27 years now? For you, it really starts getting serious after Independence Day, right?
It does. I mean, it still has a different feel than it used to. We were talking about this earlier this week that, somebody asked when reporting day was. And technically there's still a reporting day technically, but it's only when they come back off a week vacation and they come back to school and they go, well, they reported back. Well, they never really left this time. They don't leave anymore. They just, the reporting day is December 18th or whatever it is. That's reporting day. But it once you get past the 4th and, take that deep breath and do all those things, then you go, okay, now you can point towards SEC Media Days. And that's kind of the first step up here in less than 2 weeks. I guess 2 weeks from the day it ends. But so you start to kind of get some talking and get some actual football. And, as you guys were talking about a little bit in the previous break, the question of what somebody's record is, you just don't know anymore because you don't know what the other team has. You don't even know what you have, much less what the other team has. Because, the days, you're right, though, the days of what we've seen the last 20 years of Alabama and Georgia just going, oh, we're going to roll our guys out there and it don't matter what you do. We're going to beat your brains in. I don't know that those days are coming back anytime soon, not the way that things are structured now. You might have a couple of those games, but most every game's a war now, and you're going to have to make a few plays here or there to get wins.
Yeah, I totally agree, Jason. I think that the days are just, okay, we'll go to the game. We know we're going to win, but we're going to just go and see all our friends and have a good time. I think those are gone.
Yeah, you might have a few of them here or there, but like I said, the difference is that now football is like, say for instance, is like baseball has been for years, where you go, there might be one or two where you go, yeah, this series is a mismatch a little bit, but for 75 or 80% of the schedule, either way, you're going, because hey, look, you're right. The Vandy, Kentucky, Missouri, South Carolinas of the world, they go compete with anybody on a given day. And so that's the thing you look at. It's like there's no the haves and have-nots anymore. Everybody has enough to beat you on a certain day.
And that's a good thing, right?
Yeah, it is. I mean, it creates a lot more competition. And look, I don't think you're going to wind up with the 11th team in a league winning a national championship like we saw in baseball. That's not going to happen. But could the team that finishes 5th in this league, if there was a 32-team playoff, be a team that won a national championship? Absolutely. I think it could.
Yeah.
Just on a given day. I think that could happen. And so that's what has been created. And look, and it's why I think people have to understand, look, there's going to be those battles now. And going 9-3 in this league now is a cause for celebration. But because technically, if you have an 18 playoff, going 9-3 don't get you in an 18 playoff, it might get you fired in this league too. And so that's the world we live in.
Well, yeah, I think you're spot on. I think not to say it will never happen. You never can say never, but the days of undefeated regular seasons, I think, are going to be few and far between. And I think you're right. The 9-3 type seasons are going to be what we're going to see more of from this point on. And 9-3, particularly if we go to a 16-team playoff, it's going to get you in that playoff.
You're in, and you're right that now because you have 16 teams, maybe the most important thing that happens is when you look back at the end of the year and go, how did the schedule set up? Because it can be wildly different depending on who you have to play and who you have to play on the road. We saw it this year. Like, I'll go back to baseball. I saw it this year in baseball. Auburn missed LSU, Vanderbilt, South Carolina. There was one other one, but you missed those teams. You went before the year. You went, and that you just got a huge break. You missed those teams, and then you look up and goes, those were teams at the bottom of the league.
Right.
Yeah.
And Tennessee was another one. You go,
right.
Man, you missed those three. You go, man, you missed all those teams. And you look up at the end of the year and go, man, you missed those. Like, you just don't know sometimes until it's over with how the schedule broke for you, and that's going to be a big part of it when you have 16 teams.
You spent a good bit of time in your work this week and leading into last week on the offensive line, as it turned out. You had a little something in your column about, let freedom ring to offensive linemen to watch. You mentioned it about an offensive line recruit. You also mentioned this in your position breakdown, and I'll tell a little story. Last year, Troy was playing in the Sun Belt Conference Championship game in the snow in Harrisonburg, Virginia, and Troy has a guy who led the league in sacks, and we were noticing that he was playing off the other side of the ball from where he normally plays, and the reason why is because of James Madison's left tackle, who, tackles, especially left tackles, are supposed to be kind of like referees. You're not supposed to notice them unless they break down or do something wrong. But the guy's name is Joe Simmons for James Madison, and he was, he wasn't anything super spectacular, but nobody was getting by him there. Does he have a chance to be a starting left tackle at Auburn this fall, do you think?
I think so. I think you look, and you're right. It kind of feels a little bit like, man, he may not be a first rounder, but you look at it and go, he just does everything well.
Right.
A guy they love. I mean, like his teammates immediately were like, man, we love this guy. And so that's a big part of it too, where you got to look, creating camaraderie on an offensive line. But here, Joe Simmons is going to be one of Auburn's tackles, whether it's left tackle, right tackle. He's going to be in one of those spots, I believe. I think he's secured one of those positions coming out of the spring. Now you got to go back it up and do the things in preseason that you did in the spring. But yeah, I'd be really surprised if he's not one of those guys. And then you go, all right, game on after that. To see what the other position looks like, who winds up being your left tackle. yeah, I think he's one of those guys. Would I be surprised if he was Auburn's left tackle? I wouldn't, because he's got that experience. And
Yeah.
we just saw a bunch of guys from James Madison go to Indiana and a couple offensive linemen over the years and end up winning a national championship. So that's the other part of this equation too, is, we've seen guys come from every level now and be good enough, because that's always the question. People are like, are they good enough? Well, they've been good enough in a lot of cases. And so I think he's good enough to help them for sure.
There's competition there, right? You talk about experience. You got a freshman kid. His name escapes me now.
Wilson Zaire,
his brother.
Killian's brother, younger brother, he was impressive in the spring. He brought in Stanton Ramil, who's from Thompson High School, played at Michigan State, was their everyday starter at left tackle, and then battled some injuries. So he was kind of cleaning things up in the off season, went through some of the spring, but wasn't full go. So this summer is going to be really important for him to get him ready to go. And then you have two more transfers that both have experience at tackle: Jacob Strand from Oregon State and Jack Lair from Stanford. So you brought in 4 guys that have experience at tackle. You have a true freshman in Wilson Zaire, and then Ty Buster is a guy that played some guard and some tackle last year. Only got a little bit of experience, but is a true sophomore, or a redshirt freshman,
right,
that is in the mix too. And I think he's a guy that if he's not, for instance, if he's not Auburn's right tackle, I think he'll be at one of the guard spots. I think he was one of those guys that was good enough to do that. So it kind of reminds me of Kendall Simmons for the little bit old school guys, 6'3", but you look at him and go, and that guy could play any of those 5 spots and you'd feel good about it. And that's kind of what Ty Buster is.
Jason, earlier this week, Auburn reported that they had raised over $93 million, about $5.5 million more than the previous year. We all know the last 5 on the football field have not been what Auburn people want. How did they raise that much money?
Yeah, it's just, as we've talked about, like every day feels like a bake sale. I've used that term before, but you have to do everything you can and pursue every avenue. And so you think about the addition of a lot of premium seating. I think that's one of the things to look at, whether it's Jordan-Hare Stadium. And listen, that's going to go through the roof when you complete the north end zone. You're going to add a lot more premium seating, but they've added it. Basketball areas, baseball, they've added it. I mean, there was none just a few years ago. Now there's a bunch of premium seating that you add to that. And then you think about, whether it's we still don't know yet. I don't think they have the final numbers from, like, for instance, the soccer match with Argentina. You've added some things to that. It doesn't go directly to your athletic department budget, but it goes to part of it. And so, listen, all those avenues now you have to pursue, because you're not Texas A&M. Auburn, Alabama, neither one are Texas Tech or Texas A&M or Texas, where you just go snap your finger and go, hey, you, Mr. Oil Man, give us $40 million. We'll need it for something. Look, most of the teams in this league can't get to that point. So you have to figure out avenues to go raise funds, and they've done a good job of that.
Well, that's what it's about. I mean, no doubt about it. This day and age, you got to make sure you're. And the thing that impressed me, Jason, is, they're every school out there, they're asking for a lot, and they're alums, graduates, fans. I mean, I wonder how many times can you go to that well before it turns dry? But to me, it's overly impressive, because we all know, in the last 5 years on the football field have not been great.
Yeah.
But this fan base is extremely loyal and wants to win and willing to do what it takes to get there.
Well, the first part of that is they keep showing up.
Oh, yeah.
That's it. You look at it. And I think part of that, too, is, because I mentioned it a couple of times in the last week, thinking about it, going back to my 5-17 stat from a couple of weeks ago in 7-point or less games. And people don't want to hear it because it's more frustrating than anything. But like, it hasn't felt like 2012 the last 5 years, where you went out there and you got your brains beat in and you left the game at halftime. You haven't had a bunch of those, so you've gone like, listen, this team got a chance to go win, and they have. And so I think that's been a big key, because if it was pummeling after pummeling week by week, then I think you start to see some cracks in the foundation. But they didn't do that. They kept, credit to the guys, the coaching staffs involved. Listen, here we go again. We lost a couple more close games, but they kept grinding. And I think the fans appreciated that, going, listen, they haven't quit. And they never showed that in anything. And so I thought that was a big part of things. And I think that loyalty has been rewarded.
From the chat line, our buddy Coach says, Jason, is 7-5 good enough for goalless year one? He says, be careful, you're under oath.
Yeah, I mean, you've gone. They haven't had a winning season in 5 years. So in my mind, if you went 7-5 in year one, that'd be good enough. Will it be good enough for most fans? Probably not. But if you go win 2 more games than you won the last few years, and you've set, like we just mentioned, you set a foundation, I think that'd be good enough. Is it good enough to go, hey, now we're on a course to go win a national championship in year 2? I mean, I don't know if you feel that, but yeah, I mean, I think if you go from what they've done the last 5 years to winning 7-5, get to a bowl game somewhere and maybe win that and win 8 games, I would say that would be definitely a step in the right direction.
Yeah, and also I think 7-5 is 7-5. I get it, but the way you do it, I think, could certainly be an added benefit. Man, this team was in every game. They played hard. They never laid down. It was a 4-quarter contest. You just don't want to hear this, man. This team got beat by 17 or 20 or 35. You don't want to hear that type stuff.
Yeah, no, that's it. I mean, yeah, I previewed Mississippi State this week, and Auburn and Mississippi State. Mississippi State went 5-8 because they played in a bowl game at 5-7 and lost to Wake Forest. But you look and you go, those seasons were really different. They lost some close games early, and then they lost 4 straight games to end the year by more than 2 touchdowns. Until you go, okay, that's a different feel than every game being decided by a couple of plays here or there, one play. Mississippi State had positions where they blew one at home against Texas that probably would have changed their entire season. But you go, yes, they were right there. And this year's, you flip the script. You got to go 2 places where you haven't been right there very much. When you talk about going to Athens and Tuscaloosa, that's where I think this goes. Look, can you go be competitive and be in a 4-quarter game there and go 7-5? Yeah. If you do those things and you go, all right, listen, you had a shot to win those 2 games, and then you won 7 games, and you had to play at those 2 places and had to play, at Ole Miss. Like all of a sudden you start going, okay, that's what we needed to see out of them.
One final thing, and this is kind of for conversation more than anything else. Our buddy Daniel from the chat line, he says 1998 Auburn, that was the year that Bowden only made it halfway through. He said 1998 Auburn was worse than 2012 Auburn by far. He said they were talentless in 1998. Remember they beat Ole Miss bad early, and you thought, all right.
I disagree. 2012 was maybe the worst season in the history of Auburn football, in my opinion. Because look, the next year you played for a national championship with a lot of the same guys, and I'm telling you, at the end of that year, look, I've been doing this for 27 years and have followed Auburn football since I could walk. There's never been a time where you went into games going, this team has no chance to keep this game close. Even in '98, that wasn't the case.
True.
In 2012, I mean, Texas A&M, Johnny Manziel could have scored 100 points at Jordan-Hare Stadium.
Well, what was the record of the '98 team?
It was they were 1-7 in the league. I think they were 3-9, something like that. 3-9. They beat Louisiana Tech, and they shut out Ole Miss that year. And
that team Tennessee won the national championship, and that team had a chance to beat Tennessee at home. Lost 17-9. You lost 24-21 to Arkansas, 28-17 to Georgia, 31-17 to Alabama. And that 2012 team was getting blown out in games. Yeah, you want to compare that to 2012 real quick. I can get there.
98 was, Ben Lear, Gabe Gross started as a freshman, that year. 2012
down the stretch, you lost 63-21 at home to Texas A&M, 38-0 at home to Georgia, and
that's the one I wrote.
And 49-0 at home at Alabama. I mean, on the road at Alabama. there's no comparison in my opinion.
I'm with you. Yeah, that 49, it was 42-0 at halftime.
Yeah, Texas A&M was the one that I remember the most, because it was like, okay, that one was 42-7 at the half, and then it was let's see, 56-14 in the middle of the third quarter.
And they called off the dog.
Oh yeah. So,
yikes. Okay,
and
good
again,
stuff.
those guys, the majority of those guys were guys that the next year competed for a national championship with a few extra guys and a different style of play. And then you look at it going like, can you capture that again? Like I said, I don't know if you can capture that, but to the point of that 2013, they won a bunch of close games. I mean, obviously you remember Georgia and you remember Alabama, but you think about it, there were several more of those where you went, man, they won. They beat Washington State by a touchdown, beat Mississippi State by 4 points, beat Ole Miss by 8, beat Texas A&M by 4, and you go. Then you said it beat Georgia by 5 on the play,
right?
The kick 6, like you remember the 2013 team because they ran the ball and scored all those points at the end of the year. But they had to win a bunch of close games to do it first, and that's what it's going to take again. And
that's the key. As we mentioned that before. Jason Caldwell, AuburnUndercover.com. A lot of content going on, as you mentioned. Now that we're out of the doldrums of pre-4th of July weekend, things are cranking up. What have you guys got cranking up?
Yeah, this is the time where you start to kind of do some previews. So, kind of previewing some opponents. Previewing some of those position battles tight end today, so you can kind of check that out. But some basketball thoughts from Nathan this week, and then I dropped in on doing a couple of recruiting things too. Did an offensive lineman yesterday. I'll do a little bit on the wide receiver from Prattville today. I got a chance to see him yesterday in an OTA, and so it's just some of those things as we head towards actual football here pretty soon.
There you go, AuburnUndercover.com. Been a subscriber for a long, long time. Also, as you see on our scroll to the bottom of the screen, on X at ITAT Jason. Appreciate you, Jason. Thanks a bunch.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you, buddy. See you next week. Jason Caldwell, Auburn Undercover, joining us here today. A lot of great questions from our River Region Straw text line. You can get in on that chat line. It's right there on the screen. A lot of people chatting away. Even Chris the Bammer, Barry said,
he's in.
Good appearance there, Jason. We love that.
Yeah.
You always actually saying it's Rock and Rodney Day.
Well, of course, Chris the Bammer only showed up like 5 minutes ago. So.
Yeah. But the River Region Straw chat line, a lot of good questions. If you have a question for our guest, post it there on our River Region Straw chat line, and we'll certainly click it onto the screen and let our guests see it. And
if
we'll
it's
ask the question
good
to him.
Now,
yeah, we don't want to
be
dumb
sucks,
questions.
we're not asking dumb questions here, but otherwise.
Really appreciate that. Kenny and the crew out there at River Region Straw, great job. Beautify your home or office or any property you may have with premium long needle pine straw from River Region Straw. Just call or text Kenny 669-5959. He'll hook you up. Barry, as I was listening to Jason, I thought of something earlier this week. I mean, the last 5 years have been rough on the football field, no doubt. It's been a tough period. There's been a lot of coaches that have been fired. There's been a lot of off-the-field issues that have not been very positive towarts Auburn. They've had to,
all right.
Yeah.
Make your point.
Okay. They've had to, eat crow, whatever. And I got to come up with a better term than Auburn fans can forget. Forget's not a great word. Maybe they can just put it out of their mind.
Ooh.
They can move on.
That better.
Because Auburn fans, even though they've gone through all of this tough time period of not winning, taking a lot of crap from their opponents and their rivals, getting embarrassed in games and letting the whole world see it, they still show up, 22 consecutive sellouts, $93 million in donations. Can't wait for that opener against Baylor. The fan base, even though they've gone through all that crud, they're still loyal. They're still believing. And bada kick them in the butt, Big Blue. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a fan base like the Auburn fan base. And I mean,
And
that's
you think
sincerely.
what you've just detailed, what they've been through, what they've had to deal with, what they've had to forget to still, raise 93 million, to still, be on a 22 game sellout string. That's John talking on July 9th.
Yeah.
You wait, write this down. You wait our Monday morning show on September the 21st.
September the 21st. Yeah.
Our Monday morning show on the 21st of September. If Auburn beats Florida, John, I'm telling you, it's going to be nuts.
Sure.
Tiger tails coming out of people's trunks, people honking horns, and that'll be playing War Eagle, the face paint in the office and everything. They beat Florida in week 3. What you just said, multiply that by about 10. And that will be
there'll be flags, billboards, tiger tails. Yeah, I knew we shouldn't have hired Summerall. We got the guy, Golix, schooled him. Yeah, blah, blah. Yeah, I get it.
There will be some revisionist history there. I never really thought Summerall was going to be the guy anyway, All right, yeah. Okay.
That's it. It's interesting, Barry, that both Alabama and Auburn hosting two of the most prominent schools in the state of Florida on the same day.
Yeah.
How about that? I just noticed that in the schedule. Also, Chris the Bammer, I believe the count is 2, Barry, on our River Region Straw chat line.
It was at least 2.
I think 2.
But he mentioned it immediately after Jason went off the air. He said that again. So it's 3 times during this
I just want to be
segment.
clear with the difficult times that Auburn's been through. The fan base is still extremely loyal.
He's being complimentary.
I kind of am.
It's the last Auburn coach to have a winning season was also the last Auburn coach to beat Alabama. And that was Gus Malzahn.
The bus.
Gus Malzahn. 2019, Auburn hasn't won the Iron Bowl since 2019.
Yeah.
The drought has been as pronounced as any drought in Auburn history, maybe worst.
Did any coach run across the field holding up 6 fingers, though? Has anybody done that for Alabama? Maybe, I don't know. Just asking. I know an Auburn coach that did. He's about to be our next governor. Barry, if you can answer this question from Mo Tide Pride, you will have unlocked one of the greatest mysteries of the world.
A Bada-Getta is like a rammer jammer. It's just a nonsensical phrase.
Similar to Weagle?
It's like, there's a school in the Big Ten where part of their lyrics are Oski Wow Wow, Rammer Jammer.
Yeah. Weagle,
Bada
Getta,
Eagle,
kick him in the butt, Big Blue.
Hey, Bada-Getta is just, it's just syllables. Bada-Getta, the thing I don't get is you say Bada-Getta, Bada-Getta, Bada. Somebody's writing this, right?
Yeah.
Somebody's sitting there at their piano, writing the notes and planking them out and everything. Bada-Getta. Okay, I've got Bada-Getta.
Okay.
Okay, I'll put another Bada-Getta down there.
Uh-huh.
All right. It fits, the syllables fit to get another Bada-Getta in there. But how do I end this bar? All right, I got Bada-Getta, Bada-Getta, Bada-Getta. What do I put? Ba. Ba. Yeah, ba works. I'll put ba in there, So it's Bada-Getta, 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 ba.
Mm-hmm.
What do I do next?
Sis boom ba.
Ra, ra, ra. Sis boom ba. Okay, all right. People say that. All right, what's next? Weagle. That doesn't mean it. Why not say eagle?
Nah, because you're going to say eagle after you say war damn, it's eagle. Yeah, can't say
Is Weagle just a condensation of War Eagle? Is that
I think so.
Weagle, War Eagle?
Yeah.
All right, how do I end this stanza? How do I do this? All right. Kick him in the butt, Big Blue. Okay, I'll put that. But I got to finish with something.
Yeah.
Hey.
Barry, they're using
at the end of one. I'll put hey at the end of another, and I'm done.
They're using words that technically aren't words.
Right.
And then they're promoting violence at the end of the song.
Yeah.
I mean, what's going
Kick
on
him in
here?
the butt, Big Blue. Yeah. Now, Rammer Jammer, I don't know what Rammer is.
There
was a defensive back from Texas that later played for the Chargers named Quentin Jammer, but Jammer's not a word.
Yeah. Have you heard the words the students use when they play Dixieland Delight in the fourth quarter?
Have. Yes, I have. And that's I've heard those words before, though. Those are not original words. Multi-price.
Still don't know why they've done that. All right.
Songwriting is difficult. Yeah.
And I believe Rodney Orr, Tider Insider, brought to you exclusively by the Destin Connection Seafood Market, will be joining us here momentarily.
It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
The Bush Guide, cold and smooth survival skills. If you encounter one wolf, chances are there's a pack nearby. Fortunately, the same applies to beer. Head for the mountains of The Bush Guide, cold and smooth survival skills. To avoid going in circles, make note of recognizable landmarks, like that.
What's wrong with going in circles?
Different circles, Ross.
Okay.
Head for the mountains.
Summer's here, and so too are its many challenges. Heat that won't quit, beers that won't fit, hammocks that won't hammock, screen doors that appear out of nowhere, flips that flop a little too much. That's why it's important to keep it simple. Keep it cool. Keep them coming. And keep it easy. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Bud Light.
The Destin Connection Seafood Market at 3750 Norman Bridge Road in Montgomery has the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of America. I'm talking red snapper and grouper, all sizes of Gulf shrimp, jumbo lump crab meat and crab claws, Louisiana Bay oysters, and New Bedford scallops. They are a full-service seafood market and kitchen serving po' boys, dinners, and sandwiches. You know, many well-known restaurants in the river region purchase their seafood from the Destin Connection because they know it's the absolute best. Call ahead and your order will be ready for pickup. The Destin Connection Seafood Market, 3750 Norman Bridge Road. Call 288-4272. That's 288-4272. Yep, the Destin Connection Seafood Market, sponsoring Rodney Orr, the Tider Insider. The freshest seafood direct from the Gulf is at the Destin Connection Seafood. Go by and see our friends, 3750 Norman Bridge Road. If it's in the Gulf of America, they got it in the display case. Now, they don't have any seaweed. They don't have jellyfish. They don't have all that junk that you see in the ocean every now and then, but they got the good stuff at the Destin Connection Seafood Market. Hey, our friend Rodney Orr, he is the Tider Insider, joining us here this Thursday. Rodney, we greatly appreciate your time. Hope you had a good 4th of July.
John, I did, and I hope you guys did as well. And, hey, just a quick note, I'm supposed to be down in the Montgomery area to speak to the Red Elephant Club on August the 12th. Just an FYI, John.
Yeah, okay, I'm writing that down, Rodney.
Right.
August the 12th. I hear you working there.
I like it. The information at Tider Insider so far has been spot on, but we got a few questions for you. You've gotten 2 in that have been a part of your Sparkler special from the 4th of July weekend, including Osani Gales down in IMG Academy.
Mm-hmm.
But you've also got one that John has flagged for further conversation, a kid who I'm not seeing any stars in the class of 2028 from Lochapoka named Raekwon Butler. Can you talk a little bit about those guys?
Yeah, first of all, Gale's obviously one of the elite receivers in the class of 2027 out of IMG Academy. You know, he's drawn comparisons to what's his name, Malik Lemon, the kid that played at USC that was really so good and was a first-round pick, I think, of the Eagles. He's drawn comparisons to him or Waddle to some extent. Again, you know, that's just a comparison. He's had some really good camps this summer. Look, I think he might be a 5-star before this is all said and done. That's all great and dandy. You guys know it's a small class, not a lot of linemen, so not a lot of excitement, I think, right now in terms of this recruiting class among fans. So, and then you mentioned Raekwon Butler again, 2028. It's a long way off. Things change. He's gotten some offers from some other schools. We'll see what happens, but I mean, he's a 6'3", close to 6'3", 205 camp guy that, came to their camp, impressed them, got an offer, is a linebacker, obviously. And like you said, he's not rated yet. That's how early it is.
Right.
But, again, they do their evaluations, and they had an opportunity to see him in camp and really liked what they saw.
That's what it's all about. I mean, they know better than we do, I guess. And then we talk about it. It's I hate to keep using this term, but it's just a different era of how recruiting plays out, particularly on the high school level. The transfers and all this type stuff. It's just different. It's just different than it used to be.
Yeah, and look, I think development has always been a major factor, in the success that teams had. Saban was so good at not only recruiting or evaluating first these top-notch players, but he also recruiting them and then getting them in here, buying into the culture, the mindset that they had, focusing on that, and the development. He had a great staff for most of his career here that was really good at development. So I say that, John and Barry, to say this. I think when you look at some of these players, there's not a lot of difference in most of them, that you recruit, these programs recruit. And I think development now is going to be, again, I don't know if the way to put it is more important, or it's certainly going to be very important to take the guys that you get. Kirby said it a few weeks ago. He said, ultimately, it's going to still come down to me, referring to himself, versus the guy on the other sideline, and who develops them the best. And I think that's the real key. I know there's a lot of people, on Tighter Insider, there's some people that want to say, well, Alabama can't compete because we can't buy players. We don't have this, we don't have that. I don't think any of that's true. I mean, On3 came out, John and Barry, with a deal last week that Alabama's number 8 in NIL money. Whether that's exactly accurate or not, who knows?
Sure.
But Alabama's competitive enough. They can get good players. There's more than 25 good players to go around in this country. So they can get really good players. And now the key is, can they develop them? Can they put them in a system that they can win and compete for championships in the SEC on a regular basis and take it a step farther from what they did last year, which was they played in the SEC championship game.
You bring that up, and it jogs my memory because you had put something up there on Tighter Insider about some potential difference makers for the upcoming season. You mentioned quite a few offensive linemen, a couple of guys that you said seem to be kind of ready to go, like Rayson Delgatti at center. But you're also talking about a couple of guys that you think with some development can, again, the theme of the article, can really be potential difference makers. Can you talk about that a little bit, specific to the offensive line?
Yeah, well, to the offensive line, you mentioned Delgatti, the center from Cal Poly. We're losing Brailsford, obviously, is a blow, but I think Delgatti really impressed them this spring, caught on quickly. He's got a lot of experience. He had a lot of experience at Cal Poly. So I think he's going to be a real key. And I think potentially Javen James at right tackle, who's an interesting story because he was at Mississippi State, started 9 games at left tackle for them last year, and Alabama was actually scouting a future opponent when they noticed him and said, hey, if this guy comes available in the portal, he's a guy we'd like to focus on because he's got a ton of potential. So he did jump in the portal, and Alabama did get him, and now they've moved him to right tackle. So he's competing there with Nick Brooks, transferred from Texas, who started four games, I think it was, as a true freshman at Texas at guard. So there's some guys there that are really key for them on the offensive line that they've brought in. And most of the guys that you're referring to in this update that I did are either portal transfers or new players or players that are really inexperienced that you can see step in roles, whatever those roles are, and be, potentially significant contributors.
Rodney, I'm sure you have heard the name Phil Steele. He publishes a preseason college football magazine. He was a guest of ours yesterday on this program, and he surprised me a little bit. We've talked about it. I'm trying to figure out a way Alabama can win more than 8 games, go 9-3, possibly 10-2. He has Alabama as his number 1 surprise team coming into this football season, meaning a team that is not in the preseason top 10, but will finish in the top 10. He also says Alabama will be one of 3 SEC teams to make the college football playoff. He was pretty bullish on the Tide yesterday when he visited us.
Yeah, I see that. Again, we talked about it over the last few weeks. Said, look, this team, if some parts come together, that first 5 games really sets up well for this team in terms of developing confidence, growing, getting their quarterback positioned, there. I agree with Phil Steele. I think potentially this team could be, and I even said this, and I know that Barry notices all the details when I post something on Tider Insider, but I kind of compared it to the 1989 team, John.
Yep.
Once they got Gary Hollingsworth in place, once Dunn went down, the parts started coming together. Homer Smith's offense started coming together, and that team really was, they were 10-0 going into Auburn. Now, they just didn't have enough to finish it off. I mean, they lost to Auburn and Miami. But I see this team, John, if they get on a roll and they go into the Georgia game 5-0, and they beat Georgia here in Tuscaloosa, you know what the crowd's going to be. You know what the atmosphere is going to be. They beat Georgia. I think I'm going to make you a prediction that let me say this. I'm kind of leaning right now to saying they beat Georgia, and then what I'm going to tell you right now is then they'll be talking about Alabama. Now, that's being positive. That's being optimistic. I think they have a chip on their shoulder about what happened, things I hear about David Ballou. Now, again, I know we heard all this stuff last year and all this stuff. You don't buy into the hype anymore. But I do think they're using that Indiana game as a total embarrassment, and they're using it to prepare this team mentally, for, hey, you know what? You embarrassed yourselves. We embarrassed everybody associated with Alabama football in that game. So I think that's going to help them and motivate them. I'm not predicting them to go, to the national championship game or anything like that, but I do see what Phil Steele's saying. I do see that potentially. Now, with that said, I also see where if things don't go right, you could see a 3, 4, 5 loss team if things don't go right.
Yeah.
He also mentioned the running backs, and he mentioned 3 names at the top. He mentioned Daniel Hill. He mentioned Kevin Riley. And I've always liked Riley. We asked you about him last year, and you were a believer in him. But he also says E.J. Crowell is going to be in the mix as well. Will he get a full chance, do you think? Do you think he'd be ready?
Well, I think he's going to get a full chance to be ready. There's no doubt about that. He is, he's a really talented guy, man. I'm telling you, he's 220 pounds.
Yep.
I mean, people don't realize he's that big. I mean, he's 200.
I saw him in the state championship game last year, and I don't know what the record is, but he must have broken 45 tackles in that game. Nobody could get him to the ground.
Man, the impact that he could have, I think it's so much about confidence for this team. And I think a few parts, the quarterback, whether it's Austin Mack, Keelan Russell, and Crowell, those are 2 really key guys to me, or 2 key positions, along with the offensive line. You have to assume, okay, if the offensive line can do its job, if they can't do their job, they're dead. Yep. I mean, but yes, I see Crowell as potentially a major factor in this offense as this season goes along. Maybe, in those first 5 games, he works in, but I see as the season goes along, he could be, if he can pick up all the details, he could be a real factor.
Speaking of that offensive line, how many new faces will be across that offensive line from tight ends, tackles, guards, and center?
Well, I think you're going to see, of course, Caleb Edwards is back. Danny Lewis is back at tight end, but I and some other guys. But I think Josh Ford at tight end's a guy to watch. He was in my list that Barry referred to earlier.
Right.
The transfer from Oklahoma State, 6'6", 260. They think he can be a monster in the run game. So that's one. I think you look at, if you want to count Jackson Lloyd as another one, even though he's been in the program, he hasn't played much at left tackle. He's a new face in terms of just getting reps, a lot of reps. Then I think at left guard, Will Sanders has been around. I mean, he had 200 snaps, around 200 snaps last year. Delgado's new. He's from Cal Poly. Of course, Michael Carroll's back. And then you've got, whether it's Javen James or Nick Brooks at right tackle, you've got a new face there in terms of a new guy in the program. So there's several new faces. I mean, Sanders has been around, obviously, with Carroll, but everybody else up front's new.
Question from our chat line here. We were talking about running back. A.K. Deer out of Mississippi. Could he factor, do you think?
AK has the talent. I mean, he's explosive. He's dynamic. He's got great vision. I mean, he had the longest run in the season last year, 56-yarder early there in the season. You see his vision and his explosiveness. And AK catches the ball out of the backfield. We saw that on A-Day, had a big play. I think with AK, it's are you going to learn the details? Are you going to know all the details? Are you going to know the plays? Are you going to know what you're supposed to do, what your assignment is? And all these plays that they have, and whether it's a blitz pickup, whatever. I think those are the details that really he has to get down pat. But if he can, yes. I mean, this is a great opportunity for him, I think, to do those things coming up in camp.
It hasn't officially been announced yet, Rodney. I was just thinking about this earlier this week. Which players do you think Kalen DeBoer will take to Tampa for media days?
Oh, wow. I haven't even thought about that really.
It's usually, some guy that's known, that's
I would think potentially on the offensive side, why wouldn't you take Ryan Coleman Williams?
Yeah.
I'm thinking defensively.
I like Bray Hubbard.
Well, certainly Bray Hubbard and maybe Zabian Brown.
Yeah.
I know that's two DBs, but I think those three. What did they take? 3 or 4? They used to take 4.
They've taken 3. Yeah.
So, Rodney, what they don't want to do is take a punter. If you take a punter, then that means you better watch out. Your team's not going to be very good this year.
Yeah. Well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, please. I was.
You mentioned punter, and I'm thinking there's another guy that I mentioned in this update Barry referred to, place kicker, and I certainly don't want to make a prediction that Connor Talty's going to lose his job, but I think it's going to be a real competition. This Lorcan Quinn, based on what I saw in that 8A game, this guy is smooth. He's silk, and he's got great technique. I like his body language. Again, I need to see more of him before I get too carried away. But the way he nailed those 2 47-yarders like they were extra points, wow, he was impressive.
I saw him in the Sun Belt Conference last year when he was at Marshall, and he's like Freddie Couples' swing. He takes an easy swing of the leg, and I mean it just absolutely bursts off of his foot.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to kill it. It's all about rhythm.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hey, Rodney, our friend Tobias, who's out in Arizona, watches us every morning. He says, your thoughts on this, Rodney?
All right. 2
things Alabama must improve on in 2026 are winning the field position battle and playing at a faster tempo on offense. Your thoughts about that from Tobias on our River Region Straw chat line?
Yeah, that's a good kind of observation on winning field position. It's a really good observation there. That hasn't come up much. But
is that similar to? Hey, that's a good question.
That's you got the bell. Is Killer around?
Yeah.
Hit the bell. So now that's good, Tobias. That's great. I'm with you. That's really important. As far as the tempo, I agree with you there. I mean, you saw them just so many times run the play clock down. I mean, it's just right. And here's what happens. I mean, the defense finally realizes or says, okay, if they're running it down, they can get a better jump, I mean, obviously you want to go, they like to kind of play it out a little bit so they can, they got the communication with the sideline. But yes, I think that's another thing that has to be. Those are two things that are really good observations. Well, now, I'll say this too. Obviously, I think, we know the offensive line has to get better, but I think consistency in performance is a real key.
Yeah.
Just these DeBoer's called them the wild, crazy ups and highs and lows. Saban called it the consistency in performance, So I think that's one thing too. Week to week, got to be able to play at a consistent level, not get too high, too low.
Well, It's been a good interview with Rodney Orr. John's been focused. It's a tough week for John. It really is, and I'm proud of him being as focused as he is, because there have been times this week and up until Tuesday where John's in the car ready for lunch, and he'll call up the Destin Connection Seafood Market and have something ready. He can't do it this week because they're having what they call their post-crawfish season vacation. They are closed all week at the Destin Connection Seafood. They're going to be open again next Tuesday, but when they are, boy, they're going to have the freshest seafood out there. You can count on that.
Hey, those guys work so hard, they deserve a break, and they all go at the same time. So as a matter of fact, David was texting me, Barry. He's listening to us this morning, Rodney. Won't give you his exact location, but I will say he is not in the United States. And he is listening to us this morning on the program. This guy's a dedicated Tighter Insider fan. And I told him, I said, hey, Rodney's coming to town August the 12th. He says, boom, I will be there. Tell Rodney I'm coming to see him.
There you go.
Hey, I still remember pulling up in that. What was that country club or whatever, John? Yeah. And John has this big styrofoam container there. I mean, I was like, John, is this going to make it back to Tuscaloosa? I mean, it was, but yeah, that was incredible. And I hope David has a safe trip.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Before we let you know, how do our viewers, how do our listeners get more involved with TI? So much content, so much going on. Tell them all about it.
Right. It's TighterInsider.com. It's only $48 a year. Look, a lot of great back and forth right now on the board. It's been a lot of great back and forth about, the upcoming season and things to watch. And I've been kind of in the middle of some of it. But it's right there at TighterInsider.com. That's where the action is. And that's where it's going to stay 24/7, man. Nonstop.
It's a phenomenon. There's no doubt about it. Rodney, we appreciate you. Thanks very much. Can't wait to talk next week.
Guys, appreciate it. Take care.
You, buddy. Thank you so much, Rodney Orr, the Tighter Insider, brought to you exclusively by the Destin Connection Seafood Market. You're right, Barry. They did take a little time off, so they'll be back open on Tuesday. So don't head out there today, tomorrow, or this weekend, but they'll be back Tuesday ready to go after a little R&R. And the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf is from the Destin Connection. Now, Plainsman Preston says, wait a minute, he dug a hole in his backyard and Rodney's still on? Sure, Preston, come on. You could have gone and picked up your prescriptions at Walgreens and got the gallon of milk at Publix and he'd still be on.
Yeah, there's probably, if you came back, chances are, didn't happen in this segment, but before we'd be talking about, man, golly, do you remember Brian Steger? Man, that guy could hit you. Why in the world wasn't he ever a better? Man, don't you remember in the 1988 game against Mississippi Southern, so-and-so and such and such, we'd get involved in all that. And John says, I was at that game and, my car stalled and I, had my Coke spilled and I wasted a miniature of Rama in it and all that. You know, they'd be telling stories for sure.
Well, Bear, you know, I was held back today because I saw somehow it popped up the 77 Alabama Southern Cal game in Los Angeles in the Coliseum. Keith Jackson, Ara Parsegian doing the game. Bama ends up winning it 21-20. And there was an Alabama defensive lineman. I think his last name was Hammond, if I'm not mistaken.
Reggie Hammond? No, that was in.
Just absolutely terrorized the Southern Cal quarterback all day long. This guy couldn't get away from him. I think Hammond was his last name. Help me out with that if that rings a bell. Obviously, it was the best game he ever played was against Wayne Hamilton. You're right. Thank you so much. Wayne Hamilton was, I mean, they couldn't stop him. And, of course, he tackled the Southern Cal quarterback as he heaved some ball up on a 2-point play that I believe Barry Krause intercepted it. You couldn't run.
Barry Krause had an interception of Rob Hurdle on a 2-point conversion attempt with 39 seconds to go. This is a guy who can't find his keys.
Yeah.
And he's just John's mind is an
I don't know whatever happened to Wayne Hamilton, but he had a career day against Southern Cal in LA. The Trojans could not stop Wayne Hamilton coming off the edge, just terrorized the backfield all afternoon. And of course, on that last play, it was a big one. Tony Nathan had a big game.
2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
They were looking at 21-6 with 7 minutes to go.
Yeah.
And Krause had to intercept the 2-point conversion pass. Otherwise, Alabama would have
well, there's no overtime.
That one away. USC had a 15-game winning streak snapped.
They were number one in the country in that game. They were ranked number one. I think Alabama was like 9th or 10th coming into that game.
I'm playing along, Preston. You see me working here because I'm telling you, this is what you're talking about. We could do this for an hour easy. You know, Wayne Hamilton, he was somebody, you know, now Wayne Hamilton, bear in mind this, that was 49 years ago.
It was.
And so if you're, say, less than 70, this is probably over your head. This is probably before your time, but John's on a roll here. Oh, man. Can you? So I'm playing along.
You're right.
You got to get your 27 minutes out of this segment in, even if.
You got Ozzie Newsome, Tony Nathan, Major Ogilvy, the fullback.
Johnny Davis.
Johnny Davis from Montgomery was the fullback. I think Rutledge was the quarterback. It was a heck of a team. The numbers on the helmet were a little bigger. I noticed that too. The numbers were a tad bigger than they are today. But Alabama had lost to Nebraska earlier in the season in Lincoln. I think that's when Rutledge threw 5 interceptions that afternoon. I didn't think he threw 5 passes the rest of the year. But Bama loses in Lincoln, goes to L.A. Can you imagine? Non-conference games at Nebraska, at Southern Cal. That was the good old days. And that's the year that Bama got jumped, believe it or not, by Notre Dame. Notre Dame, I believe, beat Texas in the Cotton Bowl, I believe. And Bama beat, was that the goal line stand game or maybe the Ohio State Woody Hayes game? I can't remember exactly, but Notre Dame jumped. I think it was the Penn State game, goal line stand. Notre Dame jumped Alabama to win the national title that year. No, I'm sorry. They beat Ohio State 35-6. Yep. Notre Dame. Come on.
When we come back.
Here's another fun fact real quick.
Dang. Almost made it. Almost got to it. You see me working, Gurn Jr. I almost got to break.
Notre Dame jumped Alabama to win the.
Oh, hang on.
From 5th to 1st, mind you, Alabama and Notre Dame had a common opponent. You know who that? Take a guess who Notre Dame and Alabama both played that season.
Bob Hope.
It was an SEC team. Ole Miss.
Ole Miss, yeah.
Ole Miss tied Notre Dame. Alabama beat them, and they still Put Notre Dame over the Tide. All right, that's it. That's all I got on that. Wayne Hamilton Day today. He was a good one.
More to come in a moment. Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Prattville Carpet is the most trusted name in flooring in the River region. Ray Bowles and his staff have an extensive line of Mohawk, stain-resistant carpeting in all the latest styles and colors. Prattville Carpet also has hardwood, vinyl, and ceramic tile for all of your flooring needs. Professionally installed at the absolute lowest prices. Take advantage of cash and carry vinyl plank at just $239 a foot. Call them today to set up your free measurement for your home, office, lake house, hunting camp, or wherever you need flooring. 285-8117. That's 285-8117, or drop by 2201 Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville for Prattville Carpet.
All right, man, grab a Budweiser and take a knee. It is the best time of the year. It's baseball season. That means sunshine. It means behind-the-back peanut tosses. And it means sharing some cold, frosty Budweisers with your boys. Because there's nothing more American than watching America's game with America's beer. So let me ask you something. Are you ready to bring your A game? Are you ready to cheer every frozen rope down the line and amazing catch at the warning track? Are you ready for pitchers' duels and slugfests? Tell me, are you ready for the thrill of an incredible walk-off victory? I can't hear you. Are you ready for Budweiser and baseball? Then get on your feet, raise an ice-cold Bud, and let's make this season larger than life. Great times are waiting. Get some Bud!
Enjoy responsibly. Budweiser Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Big news for Central Alabama travelers. Getting to Texas just got easier. You can now fly nonstop from Montgomery to Houston with United Airlines. No long drives, no layovers, just smooth direct travel from your hometown airport. Whether it's business or a weekend getaway, Houston is now just one flight away. Spend more time there and less time getting there. Fly nonstop to Houston. Fly MGM, where travel feels easy. Book your trip today at flymgm.com.
Okay, 29 minutes to the top of the hour, and Barry, I got to come clean. I did kind of check the scores last night in baseball. I didn't wait till this morning to do it. Felt like I owed it to our viewers and listeners to be up to date before I got out of bed. So in saying that, it was a game that started at 5:40 yesterday afternoon, so it was over by the time I went to bed, which was nice. It was in Miami, the Marlins and the Mariners. That's a long road trip for Seattle. And, Barry's got to hit that button for me real quick so we can hear what he says.
Aye.
There we go.
All right.
It happens to the best of us.
Goodness.
You know what else I did? Well, I almost did it. I wanted to educate myself on the roster of the Tampa Bay Rays. I'm going to do that today, Barry. I didn't get around to doing it yesterday. I'm going to learn some of these players. Since you got to know who's on the team to be a fan, I'm told.
Well, that's kind of pointless otherwise.
But last night, we had Miami at home as an underdog. And they got out to a 1-0 lead in the bottom of the second, added another run in the bottom of the third, and Barry, that's all they needed. Shutting out the Seattle Mariners 2-0. Game was over after the top of the ninth was completed. It was great.
Yep. Now, I don't know what the Phantom's Daily Dog is going to be, but since we're talking about yesterday, by the way, the Braves play at 11:35 this morning in Pittsburgh, 11:45 Central Time. It's an early game.
And there's a lot of early games today.
They needed to get going because Braves win yesterday over the Pirates, 3-0. But there was much more to that. Pirates pitcher Jarrett Jones was coming off of elbow surgery, so they had him on a pitch count.
That had to hurt.
He was perfect through the first 6 innings. The Braves did not have a base runner in the first 6 innings. Dude for the Pirates had a perfect game. Jared Jones, not to be confused with Jason Jones.
Yeah.
So they took him out after 6 innings. And the Braves end up getting 2 in the 8th, 1 in the 9th, and they beat Pittsburgh 3-0. Say, hey, Braves win. Man, they didn't do squat for the first 6 innings. Thank gosh.
Tough.
That guy was on a pitch count. They got him out of there, and then they got to the bullpen, 2-run homer in the 8th inning, and then boom, there you go.
Barry, that's kind of tough, though. I mean, man, you got a perfect game going, and you end up losing the game outright. I mean, come on.
Didn't have a base runner. That's baseball.
That's tough. All right. So, well, now that you talk about it, Barry, Tampa won last night too. Just letting everybody know, think we need to show some love to our major league affiliate.
And not just show
the only one that beats the drum for the Tampa Bay Rays. It's amazing.
And I don't think it's beating the drum. I think it's lightly tapping it with one of those little brush drumsticks or something like that, because John takes credit for promoting the Tampa Bay Rays.
Yeah.
But yet he keeps putting off the responsibility of knowing who at least one of their players is.
Obviously, that's a big deal. I'm going to learn some of their players later today.
Some of the actual people on the team would probably help legitimize your fandom of Tampa Bay.
They got 3 right-handed pitchers: Brian Baker, Cam Boozer, and Jarrett Clevinger. Didn't Cam Boozer play for Duke?
That is interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They got a guy named Griffin Jacks, Jax.
Oh yeah, he's a good player. I like him.
Good player.
I like him.
Yeah, Nick Martinez. You got to have some Martinez's on your team if you're going to be good. I know these guys. Sure, they're household names. Yandy Diaz is their designate. Who has Yandy?
Yeah. He's a good guy. He's a good player too.
Yandy? Never heard that name before.
I noticed that a lot of the Caribbean players, a lot of the Hispanic players, sometimes nowadays you see young people with really creative names.
Okay.
Really creative names. Young people named Riley, but you spell it Ryleigh or Baileigh and all that. You see some other names that are a little bit difficult, Demontrez and Kenesha and stuff that aren't names that you heard about in the turn of the 20th century. There's a lot of those now among the Hispanic players. Yandy, Marelvis, you can be creative with your names now. It'd be hard to think of John as Yandy Longshore. I mean, John's going to fit you. My son's name is
Yandy.
Call him Jack. I think nobody called him John in his life. But I kind of applaud some of those creative names. Joe Elvis and what Runnell is and all the. I like those. Those are all right.
There's some interesting names out there. You're right about that. But Yancey is one that I've never heard. I know some people whose last name is Yancey, but I don't know anybody who has a first name as that.
What about like President Preston said, Cindy with an S?
Yeah,
that was
Cindy
on Dingo and the Baby.
Yeah. Exactly. Cindy with an S. Ooh, that's hot. That's what Stewie said.
Oh, yeah.
That might be one of the best episodes. Dingo and the Baby. That was a good one. Yeah. Brian wanted to have some serious show, and Brian came in and went just off the rails.
Yeah.
It was great.
Burp sound effects and, all that. That was radio.
Yeah, that was back in the day when we had bells, as Rodney brought up the bell we would ring. We ring the bell if Rodney said, that's a great question, or Barry said, I've broadcast from there before.
Yeah.
That always got the bell.
We always would. That came from the Dan Patrick show where where callers would identify. Hi, first time caller. My name's Fred, 5'8", 170. Ding. Anyway, okay, so time now for our
Oh, you need today's
Daily
dog.
Dog.
My bad. Oh, gee whiz. I thought I'd already given it. All right, here's the day. Here's the Daily Dog.
You've given
today.
us who the fullback was for Alabama in the 1977.
Yeah, I did, man. What a team.
USC
Golly,
game.
boy, that was incredible.
Okay,
All right, here's what we got today.
Rams Daily
Barry.
Dog today. Here we go.
This game's going off at 12:40 today.
There's a lot of early games today, by the way.
12:40 today between two teams that are one game apart in the American League Central.
Both of them right at 500.
That's
Just
right.
right on the verge. Nose above water and nose below water.
That's right. Cleveland's at 505. Minnesota's at 495. The Guardians have a one-game advantage over the Twins in the American League Central. The White Sox are still leading that division, but barely, slightly leading that division. Now,
Guardians Twins is in Minneapolis.
It is.
At lunchtime today.
Minnesota has won 4 in a row, 7-3 in their last 10. Cleveland has lost 4 in a row, 4-6 in their last 10.
Oh, Gunner.
And the home team, the Minnesota Twins, are an underdog today. An underdog, I tell you. I don't get it. I don't know why the Minnesota Twins are an underdog. Bailey Ober. That name doesn't give me a lot of confidence. I don't know
the
much about
Bermanism
Bailey Ober.
is Bailey take the over.
Against Gavin Williams?
Yes. Gavin Williams is having a great year, by the way.
Yeah.
Bailey
maybe
Ober's
that's why
doing
the
all
Twins are a dog today. Who knows? But I'm
Right.
going to put my faith in Bailey Ober today. Maybe his outing will be Ober early, and they can get to that bullpen to go ahead and beat Cleveland today. So there again, don't know a lot about Bailey Ober, but we're taking the home team at plus 110 today. Minnesota over Cleveland.
So Minnesota will get over the Guardians today. That's our Phantoms Daily Dog. More to come in a moment, including our Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel on the Thursday show, Longshore and McKnight, in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Spring is in the air, and your garage door deserves a fresh start. At Dixie Overhead Door, we're helping you get ahead of wear and tear with a $49 garage door tune-up designed to keep everything running safely and efficiently. Even better, it's included for Dixie Cares Plan members. Noticed a problem? Save $50 on any repair and let our trusted team handle it quickly and professionally. Count on reliability, savings, and service you can trust.
Drive away in a Toyota Crown Platinum or win your share of $25,000 in free play during Victoryland Casino's Crown and $25K free play giveaway. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Visit our Players Club and check out this month's exciting free play promotions. You'll have more fun at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino, off I-85 exit 22 in Shorter, Alabama. Drawings July 10th and 11th. Must be 21 or older. Must be present to win.
Hey, you want your property looking its very best this spring and summer, and River Region Straw has premium long needle pine straw to make that property pop. You're not buying sticks, stems, or pine cones. You're buying premium long needle pine straw from River Region Straw. Kenny and his staff have access to the best pine straw in the region, full of color that will last all season long. And now River Region Straw has a fourth location in Chelsea on Highway 280 to go along with their locations here in Montgomery, Prattville, and Auburn. No order is too big or too small, from a few bales to an 18-wheeler trailer load. To get your River Region Straw, drop by any of their 4 locations or give Kenny a call or text today, 669-5959. That's 669-5959, and have the best-looking property this spring and summer with straw from River Region Straw. All right, welcome back in, everybody. So glad you are with us here today on Longshore and McKnight, about 16 minutes to the top of the hour. Something I was going to get into today, I think I'm going to hold it off till tomorrow. It's still relevant, and it'll still be fresh. And we'll get into that tomorrow. We're at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram tomorrow, where Price sells cars. The big 4th of July sales event still going on throughout the entire month of July. We're going to tell you all about it tomorrow in Prattville at Stivers CDJR. If you're up in the Prattville area, we're right there on Cobbs Ford Road. Come by and say hello. Hey, Dennis Mitchell came by and said hello last week. It's Stivers Ford in Montgomery. Way Offsides Jeff came by as well. Some Java and some tea. It was great. Much appreciated. Really appreciate our viewers and listeners coming by and saying hello to us when we're out on location. And if you're in Tampa in a week or two, come by and see us there as well. You can take us out to dinner if you want to. We'd be much obliged.
Yeah. Now, when if you're credentialed, and you want to get on with us, we've got guests that are going to be live. We're going to get people recorded, for playback later. Maybe they can't get in between 7 and 9 when we're live. We're going to get them later and all that. Some of you think, man, I got to run into John. Some of you might want to be avoiding John. Maybe you owe him money. Best thing I can tell you is if you don't want to run into John, sit tight in the Mississippi State left tackle interview room, because there ain't no way in God's green earth that John's ever going to even think about going in there.
Yeah.
Whoever the defensive end is for Missouri, who's going to be up there, he ain't got to worry about the question John's going to ask him.
You're probably not going to see me there. You're right about that. That's probably pretty correct. But got a lot going on, so looking forward to it. We'll tell you more about that. The Big 12 Media Days, I believe, is going on now in Frisco, Texas.
The Monster Energy Big 12.
Yeah. I mean, the SEC has not asked me about it, but I have wondered just wondering, not criticizing, just wondering, could the SEC Media Days not do it in 2 days? Does it have to be a 4-day event?
Could. And it's changed. The Big 12 is the same thing. It used to be, and I'm not getting into this very long. It used to be you go there. It was very straightforward. There were no, neon flashing lights over every player's interview area. They just were there. They had a little placard with their name, and you walked up and you asked questions at a folding table or something like that. And, you answered questions, and then you got the answers, and you moved on and everything. Now it's become just a big old pep rally. I mean, it's almost like a premiere opening of a movie or something like that. In comes Arch Manning.
Oh, yeah.
And he'll have just a grouping of handlers, security people, sports information directors and stuff around him, fans losing their minds, wanting to get, an autograph and all that kind of stuff. He's wearing shades. He's wearing, maybe a sponsor pin, one of his NIL sponsors or something like that. And you can forget about getting questions, off the cuff or anything like that. So it's that. Whew.
It is, but I'm there again. I'm not complaining.
No.
If they want to make it 4 days, it's their party. I'm not.
Get it done. Get it moving.
Get it done. Get it moving. But I did see, Barry. There's a lot of activities that are available.
I got that
evening hours as well. So they try to entertain as well as inform while we're there. So I give them credit. Chris the Bammer wants to know Josh Harris tomorrow. Yes, we told you that earlier this week.
Come on.
Yeah, I mean, Theotis can't wait. I mean, he set his watch by. You kidding?
He can't wait for media days. He can't wait for Josh Harris. We can't wait for the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel. It's next.
It
with
is
Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
All guests of Longshore McKnight appear on the City of Montgomery guest hotline. Check out the most interesting and informed personalities in sports covering Auburn, Alabama, Troy, ASU, and all the major teams from across the country. John and Barry have the best guests brought to you by the City of Montgomery. To find out everything you need to know that is going on in the capital city, check out montgomeryal.gov. That's montgomeryal.gov.
Local banking expertise. The newest innovations and technology, personal attention, genuine hospitality. It's all just part of the Riverbank and Trust difference. They invite you to experience it for yourself. Welcome to banking above and beyond at Riverbank and Trust. Locations throughout the River region, locations throughout the state of Alabama. Riverbank and Trust. All righty, back at it. 11 minutes to the top of the hour. The Gurn Junior Victoryland 777 topic wheel is ready to go. Barry, the big giveaway is this weekend at Victoryland. The big Toyota Crown car giveaway, the $25K in free play. It is this weekend, tomorrow and Saturday. Man, you got to head on out there. You could be the big winner at Victoryland, exit 22 off I-85 in Shorter, Alabama.
More you get out there, better your chances to win.
That's right.
Sure. 6 topics. Gurn Jr. came up with them, presents them. We have no idea what they are. All brought to you by Victoryland 777 Casino, exit 22, I-85 in Shorter, Alabama, where you can be a winner too. Unwelcome guest.
Ooh.
I bet this is a bear in a swimming pool.
Or it could have been me at Jordan-Hare Stadium years ago.
Yeah.
What do we got?
Yeah, hotel guest wakes up to find a bear in their room.
Ooh, what?
Now, this is bound to be Japanese or something. Oh, it's in China. Benner goes to the hotel. I mean, he came right in through the middle door.
Yeah.
Walked right in there.
Can't get that. Oh, look at this.
Yep.
Now, wasn't there a tiger in a hotel in the movie Hangover with
Mike Tyson? That was Mike Tyson's tiger.
Yeah.
And the guy on there, he wrote a song about the tiger.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope.
Man, how does a bear get into a hotel?
That is a free stay right there. If that's my room, I'm wanting that baby comped. Maybe an extra.
That is a free stay. You're right about that.
Free
I like that.
continental breakfast, something.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a good one. Unwelcomed guest.
All right.
Good one.
Where's the peak? Who's your bet? All right, here we go. Back at it again.
Mm-hmm. It's spinning away. Where will it land?
Who's your bet?
Who's your bet?
Uh-huh.
What's your bet?
The Scottish Open, the best bets. That's Fleetwood, right?
That is Tommy Fleetwood, yep.
Let's see. Scheffler, blah, blah, blah. Still the standard. Plus 490 to win. Fleetwood. Balanced. He's not great at any one thing, but he's good at everything. But his putting is in. Ludwig Aberg.
What's that little punctuation or grammar thing they put over that they put over his name, A in his name?
I don't know. A little circle right at the top.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's called. Ludwig Aberg. Yeah, it's an umlaut.
Umlaut,
a front rounded vowel. That means it's like Auburg, not like Auburn. You ought to put it, if you put it over the A in Auburn, that would pronounce it Auburn, kind of like Dick Vitale pronounced it.
Or who was that guy that called him Tony Barbie?
Oh, Dave Neal. Yeah. Of course, that has nothing to do with what we were just talking about, but John will interject now and again in here.
Have you ever seen anybody
Ludwig
else?
Aberg to Tony Barbie. That's all.
Have you ever seen anybody else that has that little punctuation symbol? I've never seen that except in that guy's name.
Oh, I've seen it I mean, it's Scandinavian. You see it sometimes.
All right.
I got no more on that. Okay.
4 to go. See what we got. Victoryland 777 topic wheel here. Yellow, green, blue, and red. It's the blue panel.
This is what Pat Dye used to call hindsight. Is 50-50. This is 2020.
Let's see what
this is Pete Crow Armstrong with the Cubs. He's a center fielder, and he's on quite the thing. The Cubs have been getting some power. Dansby Swan. This is Pete Crow Armstrong, and he's having a terrific year. MVP.
A lot of empty seats out there, Barry. Did you notice that's first thing I saw?
Yeah, that's in Baltimore. At Camden Yards. Baltimore's in last place. They're terrible. Yeah, he's having quite the start. He is the third player in Cubs history to post a season with at least 20 homers and 20 stolen bases in back-to-back years.
Yeah.
Who are the other ones? Maybe Sandberg.
Okay.
Maybe Sammy Sosa.
Could be.
Chicago's playing really well. They're 18-6.
You know another team that's playing really well, Barry? I mentioned it because I watched some of it the other night. The Dodgers hosting the San Diego Padres. I believe it was the Sunday night game. For a team that's so good with Ohtani and all those guys, World Series and whatnot, there were a lot of empty seats at that game Sunday night.
Dodgers.
Just saying, John, from Wetumpka.
Yep.
Just saying. I'm sure the World Cup's on. Everybody, I mean, baseball people have so many excuses. It entertains me. It makes me laugh. Okay.
There is nothing about baseball that entertains you. If there's one giant chasm between me and John, and there are quite a few wide gaps, it's John's absolute, I'll say, hatred for baseball.
Hatred's such a strong word.
Every one of my friends,
so strong.
Every one of my male friends played baseball growing up. John's a good athlete. John never played baseball. I don't know of anybody in America, any red-blooded American male who never played baseball as a kid. Never played it.
Never played baseball.
That is so foreign to me.
Did not play.
It's not that he was some nerd out there or anything like that. It's just you just never
I don't think I knew what baseball was till I was about 12.
That's weird now. That is strange. I played baseball every day.
I think looking back at it as an adult, I learned this probably when I was 30. My father didn't want to be at the ballpark every night in the summer. That just wasn't his deal. So we just did. I played golf all summer. So I enjoyed doing that. I learned how to gamble.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, all right. If you skip baseball to learn how to gamble, then I guess I can. I've
been gambling since I was in 5th grade. I mean, I don't think I would have learned that playing baseball up there at Dixie Youth or whatever. Okay, 4 to go, 3 to
I
go.
never
with
gambled
4
on
minutes.
anything in my life. I played baseball all the time. That more than anything describes our relationship. Back at it.
All right, 3 to go. Spinning away. Blue, yellow, red is what we have at stake here. The red
New
panel.
digs.
New digs.
New digs.
Huh, what could this be? Look at this.
Oh, the mock-up.
Yeah.
This is a proposed new baseball. $2.3 billion. The key, I mean, it looks nice. The key is location. Do not put it out on the peninsula in St. Petersburg where nobody can get to it. The weird thing here, I mean, take a look at it. I mean, it's beautiful. It's covered it's retractable. Because you got rain in the afternoon in Florida. Everybody knows that. Big video board. But the oddest thing about the mock-up, if you take a look at it, is that there are people in the stands.
Well, I mean,
in a Rays game, I can believe. I mean, I can visualize that roof. That's a pretty cool looking roof. It looks like the top of the Galleria. And it's retractable. I get that and all that. But really, people at a Rays game?
Gurn, the screen of the panel, I can see another picture. There was one that really caught my eye. Yeah, not that one. Not that one. Not that one. Not that one.
It's that one.
Look at this. Big bar area.
Yeah.
Got flat screens. You can still see the game. But
this is in center field now.
I like that. It don't matter. I ain't watching the game anyway. Doesn't matter where I am. I like that. That's a good feature there.
Yeah, which John, when at Riverwalk when we had John and Barry Day, it was with the Biscuits. It was just another spot for John to not watch baseball.
I was in the air conditioned suite. It was hot that night.
Yeah, he kept asking me. I'd come in and I'd get something to drink. John said, "Hey, it's over yet?" He says, "Feels like it ought to be over." I said, "John, it's the 3rd inning."
I was pulling for the other team just so the game would be over.
Yeah,
Barry, did you say $2.3 billion for a baseball stadium?
That's true. That's what the projection is.
I'm with you, Theotis. That's way too much for a baseball stadium.
Especially when nobody's going to go. Nobody historically has gone to the Rays game. Maybe it's location, maybe.
Yeah, maybe so. All right, 2 more to go. Let's see what we got.
Get back on schedule here.
Blue and red. It's going to land in the blue area.
USA's lesson. Maybe this is soccer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Erling Haaland is my guy. He's my favorite player. He's having fun. He's from Norway.
Okay.
I think his middle name has that little circle above the A or something like that. But he is a he is 6'5". He's about 210, 6'4", 210. And he is out to have a good time. He's very, very good. People can't knock him off the ball. He just knocks people. He'd be a great rush linebacker. And he just has a good time out there.
Yeah, why not? That's what it's all about.
Everybody tries to beat him up out there, but he's so much bigger and stronger than everybody. He laughs at him and everything. The man is living a life. He makes, hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars and everything. And he's my favorite. I mean, there's so many good ones out there. If you haven't seen Kylian Mbappe, if you haven't seen, of course, Messi, who was at Jordan-Hare Stadium last month for Argentina. If you haven't seen Cristiano Ronaldo, of course, he's out, or Harry Kane from Great Britain, you're missing something. But if you hadn't seen Erling Haaland from from Norway, man, you got, even if you don't know a thing about soccer, watch that guy, because he's like a bull in a china shop. He's very skilled, but he's just bigger and stronger and faster than everybody else. I love it.
Yep, sounds fantastic. One more to go. Let's see what we got. It's the blue panel. Got to spin it to make it official.
John just agreed with everything I said about Erling Haaland, by the way, in case you're wondering where he stands on that subject.
Well, I did like the way you said he pushed people around. I like that. Yeah.
People trying to knock him off the ball.
Doesn't get red carded.
Shohei Ohtani just hit his 300th home run this past week.
Yep.
He's 32 years old. He hasn't played in the major leagues his entire time. He's only in his 9th year in the major leagues. He was, of course, a star in the Central League in Japan. He got to 300 home runs in less than a decade, one of the fastest to ever do it in games played. Of course, he's also a pitcher, one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball. Can he get to another 300 in another 9 years when he's 41?
Yes.
He can do it. He is so good.
Yes.
He takes that easy swing. The ball flies off his bat. And look at this, if you will. John's right about this. Look at the stands. You're saying maybe one of the top 5 players in Major League history for a 2-time defending World Series champion.
Yeah, that was against the Rockies.
Why are there empty seats?
Who actually beat the Dodgers once this week, I believe, the lowly Rockies. I was talking about the Padres. It was Sunday night. There was a lot of empty seats on Sunday night.
There should be no empty seats out there. The weather's great. Teams are good.
John from Wetumpka, can you give me a detailed reason for that for tomorrow's show? Why there are so many empty seats at baseball games? But you're leading us to believe that all these people go to Major League Baseball games. And granted, there's like 150 more baseball games than there are NFL games. But still, I'd like to have a detailed reasoning for that and print it out for me.
As hard as John from Wetumpka promotes baseball, believe me, even harder, John promotes his absolute hatred for baseball.
No, wait,
and I never can figure that out. I mean,
hatred is a very strong word. I'm just asking questions.
No, you are making definitive statements about how baseball's boring and it's dull and it sucks. Please don't, I don't want to see a little circle over Ludwig Auberg's A. I don't want to see the little halo over your head, because that ain't true. This man actively despises baseball, and that's so totally foreign to me. I got to be honest. I don't know how to react. That's like saying air. Air's overrated. Why do people like air? What is breathing? I can't get it why John
I will say this, Barry,
dislikes baseball.
I've told my brother-in-law I do want to go see Truist Park. I've heard so much about it. I do want to go see it. Now, am I making a huge effort to get over there and get it done? Nah.
Is he staying for 9 innings? Heck to the no. That ain't happening.
We'll see. We'll see.
You'll see us tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right.
From Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, our triumphant return to Prattville, Alabama.
That's right.
Cobbs Ford Road. And we've got a lot going on tomorrow. And yes, Theotis, we will have Josh Harris, the Moneyline Magician, tomorrow, and a whole lot more. Our thanks to Jason Caldwell, AuburnUndercover.com, Rodney Orr, TinerInsider.com, brought to you by Destin Connection Seafood Market, which reopens on Tuesday. Correct. And for our producer, Gurn Jr., John Longshore, Barry McKnight. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by